Hi, guys. Welcome back. Every day in this country, thousands of girls go missing, thousands of people go missing. Let's hear about a couple.
Ryan, Hannah's mom, sorry, Hannah's dad ended his own life because of a broken heart. In hopes that his daughter comes back. Like, she was a voluntary missing person. Like, she is a voluntary missing person. She left and has been seen going into Mexico. She has her passport, doesn't have her main phone, let's say. Maybe she has a burner phone. But anyways, this story is tragic. I don't know why. If Hannah wants to disconnect, that's very possible. It's very possible that she wants to disconnect from the world. Do I think she doesn't have a phone to be off the grid completely? No, she might have a burner, or when she was in Mexico, or if she's in Mexico now, she probably is. But she can easily get herself one. Anyways, what a tragic story. What a tragic story for this father. And, I'm assuming Hannah didn't mention anything to her family in regards to leaving or wanting to leave or anything like that. Like, I can't imagine what this man was feeling at the time that he did this. Like, it's just so heartbreaking.
So, from what I understand from the Hannah Kobayashi story, is she went missing, but she didn't really go missing. She voluntarily left and just kind of didn't tell anybody, right? And wasn't being very communicative. Everybody and their brother was looking for Hannah. Her father ends up, I guess, unaliving himself. And then she ends up coming out of the woodwork saying, "Hey, I didn't even know you guys were looking for me." That's what I call tragic.
And me and my husband, we just got through watching Amber Alert, and it just got me thinking, like, how many times have you had an Amber Alert pop up on your phone and you just swipe it off? You don't look at who it is. You don't look at the car. You don't look at the license plate. Like, you're just annoyed that it's going off and you're just like, get it off my screen. Like, what if that was your kid? And like, what if that was my kid? I would want somebody to click it and look and be watching for this car. And I'm guilty of not doing that. And now I'm going to be more aware of that because, yeah, we live in a small town and 90% of the ones that come through are hours away. So it would be very unlikely that we'd see them here. But we might. You never know. And I would just want somebody to pay more attention if it was my kid. And now it just has me thinking about how much we just swipe it away.
So I agree with her. If you're out on the road driving out and about and it comes on your radio, usually people do hear it. And from what I understand, the Amber Alert system is actually pretty productive when it comes to solving these crimes on where the father or mother has taken the child or the abductee. So, yeah, if it wakes you up at 3 or 4 in the morning, I could see swiping those away because those happen too, right?
Imagine your daughter goes missing for several days, and the last conversation you had with her was an argument. That pain would be unbearable for any parent and would eat you alive. Black Girl Missing is a ripped from the headlines original movie, which follows Cheryl as she begs authorities and the media to help find her daughter, but they dismiss her case. They believe she simply just ran away and are focused on finding a missing white girl instead. Cheryl is so desperate to find her daughter, she goes to amateur internet detectives for help. But I don't want to spoil this emotional roller coaster, so make sure to check out all ripped from the headline movies.
I like Lifetime movies. Whatchamacallit, I heard today, and I just heard about it for the first time, that I guess 33 to 36% of all the Amber and Ebony alerts are dealing with African American women. Ebony alerts naturally are dealing with African American women, but it looks like about 1/3 of the women that go missing are Black women.
All right, don't mind my face, my perimenopausal glow today. This is my work at home get up. Anyhow, I just had to tune in really quick to see how everybody is feeling about this Hannah Kobayashi bullshit because I lost sleep over, girl. Number one, if my ass is caught crossing the border on foot with no phone on foot, I wouldn't be crossing in a car by myself. But anyways, if that is ever the case, send a search party. I didn't do it. I'm not going on my own free will. Please help me. That's my SOS, y'all. SOS. Number 2. Who else thinks Aunt Lori and Hannah were canoodling on this, like, get famous strategy? I think that's the case.
Do you guys think Hannah Kobayashi did this so she would become a celebrity of sorts or infamous? Let me know.
I was on Facebook right now, and I'm just on there, and I'm scrolling, and then I see like an Amber Alert, as a young black woman. But then I reread it, and it said an Ebony Alert. I'm not versed on this. I just kind of like, what is? I didn't know that there was a different. I guess because I know now why, but at the time I was like, are they tripping? Are they trying to make fun? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is the Ebony Alert. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what other kind of alerts do they have? But I don't know. It just threw me off to see that. Hope they find the young lady. But man, it was just, I don't know, man.
I think it's a good thing. It's got to be a positive thing, right? As long as you get some sort of alert out there to let the people know. And again, we should all make a promise to ourselves if we're out and about driving, don't switch the alert off. At least hear it. If you're at home in bed, of course, then switch it off.
When Latricia Hartley realized her daughter went missing, she did what any parent would do. She called the police. The Bayview Hunters Point mom told them why she was scared for her 14-year-old daughter's safety. She told them about the girl's mental illness, suicidal thoughts, and social naivete. She told them why she had reason to believe she was lured from home by a 16-year-old boy with a predatory impulse and a history of self-harm. She told them about the troubling note the girl left, saying that by the time anyone found them, it would be too late. Ebony alerts were designed to address the lack of attention given to missing Black children and young Black women up to the age of 25.
Very interesting. So this is what we're going to be talking about on our walk today, because where everybody was looking for Hannah Kobayashi and she wasn't even missing, Janae Bryan is actually missing and her family is worried sick. So I wanted to share this with you all.
True Crime Kings and Queens, we have an Ebony Alert in Los Angeles County. And this is 23-year-old Janae Bryan, who was last seen at a bus stop on October 16th of 2024 around 9 a.m. She was last seen near the 2000 block of West 8th Street in Los Angeles, California. Janae has not been heard from since, and her family is extremely concerned for her safety. Janae is described as an African-American female with black hair and brown eyes. She stands at 5 feet 7 inches and weighs about 125 pounds. Please continue to pray for the family of Janae Bryan and also pray for her safe return.
Amen.
This beautiful girl right here is my friend named Johnny, and recently she's gone missing. Johnny is my friend from Cornell, and she is one of the most intelligent, kind people that you'll ever meet. She sent messages indicating that she might not be safe, and the police have not been helpful. By sharing this flyer on social media and through the Cornell community, we've been able to figure out that she was last seen in the Los Angeles area, but we have no idea if she's still there, and she could just be anywhere at this point. I know that America regularly fails Black women, but I'm begging, if anyone has any information at all that could help us find Johnny, it would be very appreciated. The Cornell community has already suffered from so much loss, and I just really hope that we find her and she's safe and she's okay. Here is a full body picture of her. If you're in the Los Angeles area, please keep an eye out and please call this number if you have any information. Thank you.
Very, very sad. We're going to be talking about this on the walk, but before we do, here's one more video that I thought was important that we share.
So my mom went missing April 14th, 1998. The last thing I said to my mom was, I love you. And the last thing she said to me was, I love you. That was Tuesday night. Wednesday, I go to school. I come home. I do my normal routine. Thursday, I go to school. I come home. I do my normal routine. Thursday afternoon, but the house phone rings. Back then we had house phones. We all didn't have cell phones. It's 1998. House phone rings. I answer the house phone, and on the other end, it's my mom's boyfriend. He's asking, "Hey, have you heard from your mom?" "No." "Have you seen your mom?" "No." "When's the last time you heard and seen your mom?" "Tuesday, when she left for work." "So you have not seen or heard from your mom since then?" "No." "If she comes home or she calls, can you please tell her she needs to give me a call? It is important." "Yes." I hang up. Immediately, I call my grandmother, who lives in Compton, and I ask her, "Grandma, have you seen Mama? Have you heard from my mama?" She said, "What do you mean you haven't seen or heard from your mom?" "No." "When's the last time you heard and talked to your mom?" "Tuesday." "You haven't spoken to your mom in 2 days?" "No." My grandma then says, "I'll call you back." She didn't call me back. She proceeded to call my aunt, who lived out near us at the time. And my aunt then proceeded to call, and she called the sheriff's office. She called the police because of the fact that she is a mother of 3, and she had not been heard from or seen in pretty much 2 days. Friday, myself and my sister was notified by my grandmother that the truck that my mom had been driving was found and had been placed in impound. And at that time, I do remember breaking down and screaming out loud, "She's gone. She's dead. She's dead." And my grandmother, "No, she's not dead. She's just somewhere hurt." That's what she kept saying. "She's somewhere hurt." And we went to sleep because it was just so much. Saturday, we woke up and we proceeded to make missing person flyers for my mom. And we planned on going out to the spot where they found the truck at and posting around the area, those flyers. I remember walking into an AM/PM that was not too far from where the truck was found and asking the gentleman in there at the counter, "Can I hang this up in the window?" And he asked what it was, and I told him it's a flyer from my mom. She's missing. He said, "Of course." We proceeded to go to the area in which my mom's truck was the last time when it was picked up by impound. We go in that area, and it's myself, my grandmother, my sister, my uncles, an aunt, and the gentleman that was locked up behind bars for her murder initially. He was there with us looking for her.
Boyfriend.
We were outside calling her name, yelling, "Mommy, Terry." He was yelling for her. My grandmother had a plastic bag, like from Target or something, and she was collecting every little thing.
Smart woman.
And me as a mom, now I understand, because she felt like any little thing could lead her or the police to her child.
Right.
And so she would pick up cigarette butts. She was picking up random pieces of paper because to her, it's evidence. Everything was evidence. So my grandmother and I started walking to this huge hill. And we were going over there, and then for some reason we stopped. Then all of a sudden, we see a bunch of police cars just driving. My grandmother tells my uncle, "Go over there and find out what's going on." He waves a police car down, and my uncle has green eyes. He has these beautiful green eyes, like mesmerizing. When he turned around, his eyes were
red.
as dark as mine. Tears were running down his face, and you just have this knot in your stomach, like this is not good. You don't know what it is, but you get that knot. You can't swallow. Your mouth becomes dry, and He walked over back towards us and he said, Mama, I think it's time for us to go. She said, what did they say? He said, they found a black female's body by the lake. And they're saying that we need to go because it's a crime scene.
You know, that old saying, the one that smelt it dealt it. You notice at the very beginning of this video, she said that the boyfriend called and started asking questions, acting like he was concerned. That was right when my trigger went off in my head and I said, I bet it was him. And then sure enough, it was him. If one of your children is with somebody that you just know has a seed or a kernel of evil in them, let them know that you care. And if you're if you're a son or a daughter and you haven't called your folks in a long, long time, pick up the phone and at least let them know you're okay. For everybody else, get your shoes on. Let's go for a walk. I've got another story to share. Good morning, Venters. I'm walking midday because I just watched Penn State hand SMU the rest of its season. SMU lost to Clemson a couple weeks back, and now they lost to Penn State, so they're out of there. They looked a little bit out of their element. Some people are predicting that's what's going to happen to ASU. They're going to start to come back down to reality. They played in the Big 12, yada, yada. But what they don't know and what they can't measure is this team's heart and the fact that I have money on this game. So I need ASU to beat the winner of Texas versus Clemson. And they're going to do it because they have the Venters praying for them, thank goodness. Guys, take a look at this girl. Her name is Janae Bryant. She's a graduate from Cornell. And 4 weeks ago, she was officially declared missing by her sister. And it's really interesting because there was another girl named Hannah Kobayashi who was from Hawaii that's been making the news. And we come to find out that in Hannah Kobayashi's case, she wasn't even missing. But in Janae Bryant's case, she's been missing for 4, I believe going on 8 weeks now, but she's been officially kind of a spotlight of the country for the past couple of weeks, and rightfully so. According to Janae's sister, Janae slowly began to lose touch with her family and friends, other than her mom, and she feared that something was going to happen to her. Janae actually told different people that she felt like something bad was going to happen to her. In August, she emailed her ex-boyfriend saying that she'd been gone for a few months, she's moving to a new city, goodbye. A couple months later, she emailed that same ex-boyfriend saying, I think we should get married, let's get a job working together in industry. And apparently the day of that email was the last day that she was reported before she went missing. Janae was officially reported missing on November 13th after the LAPD declared an ebony alert. Her sister, who's worried sick about her, is named Jaquay Bryan Gooden, and she says that she's put together a timeline of when her sister went missing, and she's extremely frustrated because she's had to work with the LAPD. I have a feeling a lot of people are frustrated probably with the LAPD and everything that has to do with the state of California. But the reason she's increasingly become frustrated is because they've captured her sister on CCTV at various locations down there, and she's actually been spotted an unbelievable 9 times in the LA area. What her sister told Dan Abrams of News Nation on this video that I saw, and I'll link it up here so you guys can check it out as well, was that her sister was caught on CCTV footage. She went to the state of California, she went to the LA area where this footage was actually capturing her sister, and she actually saw a camera. She went into the store owner who owned the camera and she said, is there any way to review this footage? I'm trying to find my sister. She's been gone and I'm worried that her life is in danger. And thankfully, the camera guy said, the store owner said, I have absolutely no problem sharing the footage with a detective. So, of course, Janae's sister went to the LAPD, spoke directly with the detectives, and they basically told her that they don't have enough time to focus a lot of energy and resources to check out this footage. She would have to be a little bit more direct with what specific footage needs to be checked and when it could be time-stamped, what exactly her sister looked like and what exactly she was wearing. And that's where the problem lies. Obviously, if your sister goes missing, you don't know exactly what she's wearing. Could you imagine if your family member was missing? You've got some clues that obviously you want the LAPD to look at. And could you imagine if they had the gall to tell you that they just don't have the time? The whole country has the ability to look for Hana Kobayashi of Hawaii, and then she's not even missing. In this case, her sister has a reason to believe that Janae is actually in trouble, and LAPD won't even take time to take a look at the CC footage where her sister is actually on these tapes. That would be infuriating, wouldn't it? So if you put yourself into her sister's shoes, you just can't help but feel like the LAPD is not quite trying as hard as they obviously could. And you also can't help but think that if this was the Hawaiian girl, the LAPD would be all over it. Because Janae is a black girl, her sister feels like she's not really getting the pub that she deserves. And let's be honest, we don't see too many videos throughout the last 20, 30 years of our life where they show the plight of black women that go missing. In this case, this is a Cornell grad. She's got a beautiful future ahead of her. And I think the LAPD should try a lot harder than they're trying, or at least try a little harder for Pete's sake. Is that her sister had a podcast. She was very active on social media. And since she's gone missing over the past 4 to 8 weeks, she pretty much abandoned her podcast, and she's been dark when it comes to going on social media. She's basically disappeared without a trace, other than these multiple sightings of people seeing her. So imagine you have a sister that you can't connect with. You think she's alive because people are seeing her, but you also feel pretty sure that her life's in danger because she's never gone this long without communicating to her family, friends, and specifically her sister. I have nothing against the LAPD. I've never lived in LA, but whenever you're dealing with a population that's huge, there's probably going to be a lot of excuses that you can always give to families. How about you just take that extra time and take a look at that footage that you have, and you get things fixed. I have some blue blocker glasses. I don't know what it is, but over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I feel like I've had multiple days where I just have not slept well. And it's really creeping me out because in my life, even when I suffered from insomnia, it was always one day here, one day there. I've never had this weird situation where I haven't been able to sleep. So I have some blue light blocking glasses, and I'm going to start wearing those while I'm doing my editing and stuff. Maybe I'm just staring at screens too much during the day. So we'll try those blue light blockers and see if that can help me get a little bit more sleep. You know, when you're 20 years old, you can probably go without sleep and it's no big deal. But when you start to get into your 40s, pushing your 50s, God dang it, you need to sleep. And for some reason, when a person can't sleep, you can't beg yourself to go to sleep. It's the most horrible situation. Hannah, 1849, says, pray for her to be protected from harm. I know, isn't that horrible when all you can do is kind of pray about things? It seems to me like our police force constantly around this country, seems like they constantly have their hands tied behind their back. Every single business out there, there's cameras, there's video footage every single corner of every single street in this country. And for some reason, when you know the answer is right there at your fingertips, for some reason, some of these police forces just act like, hey, get back in your space in line. There's people ahead of you. And I'd imagine if you're one of these families where you have a loved one missing, it must come across as just the meanest, cruelest thing. I don't know what it is with California, but every time I hear any type of story from that state, it just irks me beyond belief. We have people here that pay so many taxes to live in California, and I just can't help but feel like you people are getting ripped off by that state. That state acts like they care about everybody, but on an individual scale, that state and those cities in that state don't seem to care about a damn thing. They really don't. Taisha, 2105 says, we all know the reason that this case is not receiving the same coverage. Isn't that a slap in the face? When a Hawaiian girl goes missing in your city, and all of a sudden everybody and their brother's looking for that Hawaiian girl, and it makes the news on every darn station all around the country, but all of a sudden your sister's missing, and she should be just as important as anybody else, but they won't even take the time of day to check footage for you. Just a slap in the face. If you agree with me that the LAPD should at least take a look at that footage to, at least if anything, rule stuff out, what if they looked at that footage and found out that it was just a person that looked like her sister and it's not her? At least then her sister could focus somewhere else. But for the LAPD to actually tell her that they don't have the time nor the resources, when all that state does is charge exorbitant taxes left, right, and center. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know about you, but if you knew in advance that the cops weren't really going to be there for you, that the government wasn't really going to be there for you, I bet you everybody would vote against tax increases. Who would want to pay tax increases every single year to a city and state, the city being LA, the state being California? Who would want to pay any taxes to a state that treats their citizens that way? And just because the sister, Jacque, is from another state, you know, obviously her sister was found or spotted in LA. You figure LA would do something about it, but of course not. God forbid they help. Mr. Daniel Lee Brown says, I hope this is not another quietly missing case, similar to the Hawaiian girl case. So again, Hana Kobayashi was a Hawaiian girl that she didn't even realize that people thought she was missing, because she was just kind of hanging to herself and kind of being alone for a while. And sometimes we have situations where people say, you know what, I need to disconnect. I need to quit talking to family and friends for a minute, and I just need to spend some me time doing my own thing. Now, I suppose there's a chance that Janae Bryan could be one of those people, and let's pray that she is. But at the same time, in Hana Kobayashi's case, she didn't even want to be found because she wasn't even missing. And we spent all these resources plastering her photo on every television set in America. And I just can't believe that only News Nation is really sharing the story of Janae Bryan. Now, that might have changed since News Nation came out. And I say God bless News Nation for sharing this story, period. And I figured I would share it with you guys, just in case you guys don't watch News Nation and have no idea about it. You know, it's funny. I find myself walking quickly because I don't want to miss a single minute of the Clemson-Texas game. But have you ever watched a college football game? There are so many stoppages of the clock, so many commercials that they pump out, that a simple 60-minute football game lasts about 4 hours. And I love it. I love the longer a football game lasts, the better. But it's crazy because somehow NFL football games seem to last 3 hours. But with the NFL, they don't even stop the clock. Have you noticed that? The clock just continuously runs. And some way, somehow, the NFL players are still able to score just as many points, rush for just as many yards. It just goes to show you that in the grand scheme of things, professional football players are really top-notch. I have some friends that absolutely love football, but cannot stand watching college football because they can tell the difference. With me, I watch it and I can see talented players at the college level and the pro level. And I really get into college sports when my teams are involved. The problem is, if you were to judge my attention span to college sports over the last 2 or 3 decades, it's been practically non-existent. But it's not because I don't like college football. It's just that's what happens when your team sucks for so bad. We now have this coach, Kenny Dillingham. He's like the youngest coach in the country. He's like 34 years old, which is crazy because that's like 14, 15 years younger than me. And I still consider myself to be a pretty young human being, you know? And what's interesting is I believe that you're only as good as your coach at the college level. I hope ASU signs Kenny Dillingham for a lifetime contract, and I hope he doesn't become like our other good coaches in the past where they end up going on to bigger and better schools. I would like to see ASU go out of their way to keep this guy a Sun Devil for life, like Rod Tidwell. If you guys know who Rod Tidwell is, that's a little bit of movie trivia. Let me know down in the comments. I'll give you a clue. Here's your clue. You complete me. What movie is that in, and who is Rod Tidwell? Let me know down below. At Lovey Dovey, God, that's another bit of Hollywood trivia. Who was known as Lovey in one of our favorite shows growing up? If you know who Lovey was, let me know. Lovey Dovey says, why am I just hearing about this? Right? Keep in mind, it's been a month to 2 months. If you're just hearing about this for the first time, that goes to show you how little coverage this particular story about Janae Bryan missing has been. And keep in mind, this is a graduate of Cornell. This is a person that has a bright future. This is a person that we need to be looking out for. And you want to know something? Even if she never went to college, even if she dropped out from high school and junior high and everything, we should still be willing to focus and look for people that are missing. Maybe we need to, I remember on the back of milk cartons when I was growing up, do you guys remember they would put pictures of missing children? Maybe we need to go back to that. Let's make it where when you go to a corner and you go to a bus stop, maybe they should have pictures of kids that are missing so that we can find them. Every time I go into Walmart, I don't know if your guys' Walmarts are like this, but right by the bathroom, they have literally dozens of pictures of young adults and teenagers and kids that are missing. Why don't all companies do that? We need to start finding these missing children and reuniting them with their families. When I put myself in their situation of a family member that is lost, it just breaks my heart. Could you imagine if one of your family members went missing and nobody cared? Absolute worst feeling ever. I think that we should have more stores copy what Walmart and the post office do, and I think we should get back to putting pictures on milk cartons or whatever we got to do to locate some of these missing kids. Apparently, there's millions of missing kids all around the world. Seems like we should do better as a society to help find these kids. If none of you remember who Lovey is, I'm going to be a little disappointed. The clue to that is it's one of our favorite shows growing up as a kid, if you're, let's say, over the age of 35 or 40. At PPP Loans says, if she was a healthcare CEO, they'd be looking for her. You know, that goes back to what I was saying. Seems like if something bad happens to a judge or a member of the government, of the Senate, of the Congress, of a CEO for a mega $1 million company, it seems like all of a sudden, a Fortune 100 company, it seems like all of a sudden it's plastered over every single TV show, every single day for weeks on end, doesn't it? But when it's somebody that is the girl next door, there's absolutely no pub for her. And you might say, well, Jesse, think about this. If there really are millions of missing teens, they can't possibly show all these people on the regular. There used to be a show that I used to watch, and it might still be on. It was called America's Most Wanted. And it was a popular show where they would show criminals' mugshots. And lo and behold, we would find these criminals because of that show. How come not one of these TV stations is creating a show where it just spotlights missing kids? That seems to me like a show that somebody out there should have the heart to share. Could you imagine if you were looking for your own missing child and you started watching that particular show, right? Hoping to see your child on that show? And imagine if you ended up seeing other children and you ended up helping a crime get solved and a child be found. That would be a magical moment. Why aren't any of these thousands of TV channels we have, why aren't any of them devoting some time to this issue? It seems to me like something everybody would want. But yeah, I agree with you. Let's quit giving more time and publicity to people of a certain status that are up here, and let's start treating all Americans equal by giving everybody a little bit of pub when it's needed. I feel the same way about YouTube. My God, all they ever show you is the big channels. Show you the Venters channel, damn it. V, as in Victor, Nikki Johnson says, I wonder who else agrees that those emails sound fake, possibly written by her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. Nikki, I think you're right. I think that those emails are very suspect. What are the chances that she'd be writing an ex-boyfriend saying, hey, I think we should get married and we should do this, that, and the other? Sounds very shady. Now, the truth is, that ex-boyfriend could be completely innocent and just trying to help authorities. But every time there's a murder or something on TV, on, Dateline or 2020 or To Catch a Predator or whatever, it seems like it's always something to do with a spouse or a significant other. It seems to me like that boyfriend would be the perfect person to at least start investigating. Because while she was slowly separating herself from her family, her friends, and becoming more distant, it sounds to me like she was actually reaching out to the ex-boyfriend. And for all we know, that ex-boyfriend might have been urging her, get away from your family and friends. I want you to be loyal to me. Because, sometimes that's how men and women are. We want to basically smother the person we love. We want all of their attention to be devoted to us. And if you're one of these human beings that are like that with your spouse, knock it off. Let people have friends and family. Now, if you're a married man and your married wife wants to hang out with all of her single friends and go to the club where men are, yeah, I could understand you not wanting her to be there. But man, I'm telling you, there are a lot of men and women that the first thing they do when they get you to be a part of their life is they try to separate you from your family and friends. Run from those people. Those are people that you'll end up divorcing and end up wondering why the heck you wasted so much time with them. I wish I would have spent a little bit more time with my grandma the last 15 or 20 years of her life instead of with my ex-wife. It's like, golly, you look back and you say, holy crap, I wish I could have redone that. What I can urge you to do is if you find people that want to smother you and separate you from everybody, that's a giant red flag. Anyway, I'm sorry I rushed through this, but I got to watch a football game. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.